Good morning and welcome to Dolphin Thirsty. We are Dolphins Chatter today. And as you can see, that's my website, dolphinthirsty.com. Please go make sure to check it out. I got a nice, new, beautiful Miami Dolphins trivia tab on there. I've had all those trivia, but people kept on emailing me saying they couldn't find all the trivia. Now it's all in one easy stop. You just hit that Miami Dolphins trivia button and presto, you're going to have a lot of Miami Dolphins trivia at your disposal. With no further ado, I'm going to bring in my co-host today, Steve Malloy. That is no decoy. That's the real Steve Malloy right there. So welcome, Steve. How are you this morning?
Oh, just another day in paradise.
Ender in the house. Real quick side note, side business for Ender. Your jersey is on the way. Per Justin, your jersey is on the way. So expect it in the near future. It's finally going to be at you. Fins up to you, Ender, as always. Oh, and there are, man, we were on his show last night on his network on Real Talk, Fins Talk, which is featured on another news feature on my section, featured video of the day. You can find it on the homepage of dolphinthirsty.com and also in the blogs section. So with that, sorry, Steve, I didn't mean to cut you off. How's Texas today?
Oh, nice and sunny, bright sunny day. It's going to be a warm day in the 90s, so it's kind of like Florida.
There you go. And hey, this is my new welcome to anyone that shows up. So Bobby of Fins Talk and Ender. There you go. There's a little friendly welcome. Welcome to my room. So Steve, last night we talked a lot about the win. I think most channels have already kind of hashed it out. But just to recap, you're happy with the Isaiah? Oh my goodness, Isaiah win signing.
Yeah, I am. I think he's going to be a good addition. I honestly give him an edge over Austin Jackson, even at right tackle. I know he's a left tackle predominantly. He did real well at left tackle when he was on the field. His PFF score was in the 70s, so he's above average, I would say. Right tackle he struggled with last year. It was his first time playing out of position at the right tackle spot, and his PFF went down a little bit. But look, he's got a year behind him now, and even with that said, he struggled last year. I still believe he has the edge over Austin Jackson as far as the right tackle competition goes.
No, I agree, and the reason I think they signed him earlier than they did for Brendan Shell is because what you said, left tackle. If Armstead can't go because of injury, at least he's better at left tackle because Brendan Shell was not very strong very good at right tackle, but not very strong at left tackle. So I believe, that's the main reason they picked up Wynn because he can fill in at left tackle better than the guys we had last year. So it won't be as drastic as a fall down. So, Hey, Ender gives you a good morning there.
Good morning, Ender. How you doing, brother?
He knows that Dolphins #1, baby. So he knows you, man. Ender, no. Hey, Vito, welcome to the room. Sorry, Steve, I got to give him because Vito is one of my favorite follows on Twitter. Very nice, always positive, never talks anything. So he needs to. There you go, Vito. Thank you, Vito, for always being positive on Twitter. I never have to scroll past his stuff, afraid of all the BS that's on there. Always a good guy to follow. So, yeah, I agree with you on the win. And now, towards the end of our show last night, we talked about Christian Wilkins. So I would like to look a bit more into him. That's why he was on my thumbnail for my YouTube show today, because it's really been quiet on that front. Because he's going to be playing on his 5th-year option this year. Before we even get to where he's going to play along the defensive line, we're going to talk about the contract real quick. So he's going to play on his 5th-year option, and they have not moved to sign him. I don't know if they're waiting for more money to become available June 1st, but I know they could re-sign him and actually open up cap space right now, but maybe they're just waiting until June 1st to have extra money to play with to see how the roster is going to shape up, see if teams cut anyone else, and you kind of know where you stand. So with that said, first on his contract, are you for giving him a contract in the $15 to $18 million range, or are you willing to go all the way up to like the 20 and above?
Look, let's. Christian Wilkins was a beast on our defense last year. He's a great run stopper, probably one of the best. He deserves an extension. Okay, he really does. Now, the question is like what you're asking: how much? We know Quentin Williams for the New York Jets. He's a run stopper. He's an all around defensive tackle. He's a run stopper, and he had 15 sacks last year. He's asking for 25 to 27 million.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
That's crazy.
And yeah, it is crazy. Now there's been other tackles even prior to that have been getting 18, 19, 20,000. And they've also had a lot of sacks, 12, 15 sacks. So in this defense, in my opinion, Christian Wilkins is going to have to improve on getting to the quarterback, because I'm happy with Jalen Phillips. I'm happy with Bradley Chubb. I know they're probably going to perform and do their thing, which is quarterback hunter. But I'm a little concerned with Christian Wilkins in this scheme, this Fangio scheme, along with Zach Sealer. Now, getting back to your question, I don't think he's going to take 15 million.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think he's going to do that. I think he'll accept somewhere between 17 and 20 million, not thousand, 20 million.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I'd be if I was the general manager, and yeah, I know if I was the general manager right now, I would be thinking hard. But you better not think too hard, because there's other defensive tackles on the market that are going to be asking for more monies, and the market value is just going to keep going up and up and up. I think it's 15 million right now. So I would settle for 17 million.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm thinking he would give a little bit, because after this year, if he stays healthy, which is always a risk for these players. He's been healthy throughout his career, but you still run that risk. But if he plays healthy on his 5th year and balls out, he's going to be very high priced to keep for sure. So I would hope they do something sooner than like, brother, don't do what we did to Gesicki, kind of put us against the back of the wall, get this contract figured out before. So if you are going to have to move him because you just don't think you can fit his numbers, you can get something of value for him. But if not, just rework him now, which I think eventually I hope that's what the Dolphins do, because not only is he good on the field, I know he doesn't put up the sack numbers, which are the sexy stats that we all love to see from our defensive guys, but he's a good run stopper. He does what he needs. Plus, he's off the field. He's motivational. Mm-hmm. He always out there running to the team, and him in the offense, scores a touchdown. He's the first one to congratulate the offensive players. He just brings a thrill to the team. His trash talk, it's fun. He's just a good guy to have on the team, and I hope they work something out. But like you say, they can't be irresponsible and just give him some crazy money, just to keep him either. So there has to be some happy balance, because you have to plan. You got to work out the whole team. So now let's get to the position. What do you see? Because he's not a true, he definitely is not a true nose guard in a Fangio type.
No.
Do you see him more at in, or just kind of maybe working along the line? And then I'll get to Ogba later. Don't let me forget.
He's going to be a pure defensive tackle. He's not a defensive end. He's going to be in a 3-4. He kind of has to play that in spot. But really, it's not. It's more of it's just a defensive tackle spot, but it's a 3-4. Now in the 4-3, he's going to have to play that true defensive tackle spot.
Right.
And so that's what I think. I think he's going to play that position, defensive tackle.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's what he is. And then also on the line, before I forget, Emmanuel Ogbah spoke to the media. It was like yesterday or the day before yesterday. I think yesterday. And he said that he's 100%. He's ready. He's coming in with motivation and extra incentive to play well, because he felt like he let the team down last year by his performance and then the injury. And he says he's ready to go, and that they asked him about where he's going to play. He wasn't real specific. He said anywhere along the line, from the inside, even have him working up in a stand up without his hand in the dirt spot. So he kind of he doesn't want to give game plans away, obviously, but he did say he moved all around. So he's a guy to maybe there try to do that. with Christian Wilkins, move him a little bit around. Obviously, I don't think Wilkins fits the stand up guy. But, other than that, I think, Fangio is going to be more versatile with our defensive linemen, move them around some. And, because I think they're going to try to feature when it comes to the pass rush. They don't want to do all the blitzing. So they're going to hope that Jalen gets in there and that, Bradley Chubb gets in there. So, that's what they're going to want. They're going to want those guys being the pass rusher guys and let the other guys do the dirty work if all goes according to plan. So is that how you feel too? Since you said he will blitz, but he wants to be able to dictate when to blitz, as opposed to last year when we're blitz happy at times.
Right. Well, for one, you got Agba, like you said, and I think he can play those roles that you mentioned, to stand up and in the dirt, and defensive end. They better get him in that rotation because he's making a lot more money than Christian Wilkins is.
Yeah,
so they better get him in there. So I agree. I've lost my train of thought now.
No, that's fine. So you agree that he's going to be.
But I do agree that he's gonna be moving around in that Fangio. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. You mentioned Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb.
Right.
Okay, yeah, they're going to come in from the outside and rush the passer. But again, this is where I'm afraid of. You got a lot of mobile quarterbacks out there. They're not just statues anymore. We're going to be playing against a lot of good mobile quarterbacks that are able to create and move around in the pocket. So all they got to do is, if they see Jalen Phillips coming in, and now this is hypothetical, of course.
Of course.
And Bradley Chubb coming in on the outside, all they got to do is move up, move around, move up a little bit. And if Christian Wilkins or Zeeler's not there, he's going to be able to get that pass off. That's what I'm afraid of. That's why I think we need a guy like a Quentin Williams would be an ideal candidate for Fangio defense.
That's what all quarterbacks say. When you've heard Dan Marino interviews over the years, he didn't mind the outside pressure so much. He hates it when there's inside pressure because you can't step up into the pocket and it disrupts the whole thing. So, and that's it. So if you got a guy, that's why, the guy out there on the Rams, Aaron Donald's been so dominant because he gets that penetration right up the middle. And then when he does, it just makes the life on the quarterback. There's really no escaping that because you got your outside guys on every team that's going to get their moves here and there. But when you get an extra guy that can do it on the inside, boy, it makes it tough for a quarterback because there's nowhere to go.
Exactly.
You got it coming at you. Then you think, oh, I'm going to roll up. By that point, it's too late, and the guys are coming on the outside, and they're going to nail you.
Yeah, the pocket closes on you.
Yeah,
real quick.
That's the hardest thing to come, and that's why most of the blitz, the most successful blitzes always come up the middle. Those surprise blitz when teams aren't ready, and they send a linebacker all of a sudden up the gap. Those are the most devastating when they work because it's just like the quarterback. Because it's just, it's almost, I don't care how good you are. If you see a huge guy ready to take your head off running straight at you, you're going to be distracted. You're just going to be, and it disrupts you because like what you don't know doesn't hurt you in the old saying. So they don't know. They may feel that pocket presence. Someone's coming, but when you see a guy running right at you, it just throws your whole, whole. I don't care who you are. I don't care how big you are. You don't want someone taking your head off when you see them coming at you at full speed.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
And that's where that's where our defense kind of lacked last year, that penetration up the middle on pass rushes.
Well, they didn't have to. They did a lot of the zero blitzes and things like that. They had a lot of folks on the line, so they had a lot of folks coming at you. So they didn't have to be purely organic pass rusher.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's what we need because I think the good defenses have organic pass rush that they don't have to be so exclusive on the blitz. Because when a blitz is coming, any decent NFL quarterback can beat an NFL blitz. They're going to know. They're going to have their out. They're going to normally know which guy's coming. They're going to throw to that area where he just exposed that opening and that's, it makes it hard. Now, blitz is perfect like Fangio wants, like when he dictates and they're not necessarily know what's coming. You disguise it till the end and then all of a sudden, boom. But it was so obvious that all of us watching on the TV last year, you knew the blitz was coming.
Oh, yeah.
The quarterback knew the blitz was coming.
Yeah.
So they already have their outs. They already tell them up there, okay, if they bring their zero blitz, you're going to go to, boom, because you're just going to have to
Exactly.
get rid of it, and you know where to go. And he reads it's coming in, and boom, they hit those, and that's why it wasn't as effective last year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just. But like I said, it's all fun and games. We just got to start winning those games. I'd look for Fangio to change things up at least, because now he will do different things. Yes, he's been in the NFL, so people know a Fangio defense, but they do not know what a Fangio defense is going to do with the Dolphins personnel. So it's a lot different. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, so they may know the coach, but they don't know what the Dolphins are going to do for the first few games. By the a few games in, they'll start figuring us out a little bit. But it should be like, hopefully we go out there. I almost said San Diego, Los Angeles. We go out there on the first game, and we surprise the hell out of Herbert. So let's see.
Yeah.
There you
Well,
go. He's
and
got the talent. No excuses. I think that's probably towards the whole. Is that towards the whole team to back it up in? Because that's what that's our theory here. There is definitely no excuses when it comes to this year's Miami Dolphin team. Or were you talking about a player in particular? But, Fangio, yes, there you go. So, yeah, Fangio has, yes, there is no excuses. He has the talent, I think, and I do believe that the Dolphins' defense will be better this year. I know you said you've done some research. His defense normally falls in the top 10 as far as
mhm.
scoring defense, but not necessarily giving up yards. That sometimes they give up the
Right.
yards, but they don't give up the points. Which is, at the end of the day, is not giving up points is the goal of a defense. But
Exactly.
you're just giving the
Exactly.
hits up to fans. Don't expect them to just like a lot of 3-and-outs, and you're like boom, 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 and you get the ball rolling. So they will do some drives, but they will stop them in the end. Is what you believe is what we are to expect this year.
Yeah, what I expect is look, Fangio's good at disguising his defenses. Okay,
Right.
that's the whole thing. It's the pre-snap. The quarterback doesn't know what you're going to do, and that's what he's good at. And also, like you said, the fans are going to have to get used to the dinking and dunking, and they're going to have to get used to the teams moving down the field. And Fangio's defenses are very good at turnovers, and that's what he wants to do. Is he wants to make that quarterback, make the mistake and and throw an interception or a fumble or something. So that's the whole thing about Vic Fangio's defense is
Yeah.
he's going to disguise the coverages. He's going to you're not going to know whether he's coming in to blitz you or not, because he like he said, he's not going to be, he doesn't want to be dictated as far as blitzing, but he does blitz, but at his own, when he
Right.
wants to blitz. So the quarterback is not going to know when he decides to do that.
And that should
So
be a big advantage to the Miami Dolphins
very
this
big
year,
advantage.
which
Yeah.
I'm hoping for. And
Yeah.
then we're going to get into some fun talk now. In the dream world, that would make Bobby Finstock very happy. Let's talk a little bit about the running back room. I think we're pretty good as we are right now, because I like the bringing back the guys we had last year, because I don't feel like a lot of it fell on them. I
Mm-hmm.
do believe McDaniel was some to blame on that front, and he, by his own accord, he admitted he abandoned the running game when it was doing well. So that I was okay with. Then in the draft, like I love to say, I was off the chain for Devon A-Chain. I think he's going to bring an element that we didn't have. He's young, really fast. I mean, up there, like, in the Waddle, Tyreek Hill speed range.
Oh
No one
yeah.
probably as fast as Tyreek Hill, but he
Mm-hmm.
said, he's fast like that. I just think a whole off season now of McDaniel scheming to get A-Chain the ball is going to be, we should be moving those chains with A-Chain a lot this year and hopefully getting some touchdowns. But I know we have to do some speculation. So if June 1st comes around and news breaks, the Minnesota Vikings are releasing Dalvin Cook. Are you like hoping that the Dolphins are like a team moving up and getting him, or keeping contract friendly in mind? Keeping contract friendly, like it's not some over the cap
Mm-hmm.
number that's going to prevent us from signing, like Christian Wilkins, like we already said, and helping out some of our other guys, Sealer. So outside of that, this Dalvin Cook gets released. Do you want the Miami Dolphins to look into it?
Absolutely, if it's contract friendly.
Right.
But that's what I'm afraid of. They're going to release him. When you release a guy, it's good and it's bad. It's
Right.
good because now he's got teams bidding on him, and it's gonna be who wants him the most.
Right.
Now, and the other question is, does he really want to come down here and play in Miami, or is he more motivated by the money factor?
Right.
So
No,
that's the question. But to your question of, do I want him to come? I'm like you, Rob. I agree. I think we're pretty well set with the running backs that we do have, especially acquiring A-Chain. Look, they better get him into the lineup. They drafted him, at number 3, right?
Right. The third round. Yeah.
The third round pick. So he better get some playing time. All right. If he doesn't, then running back's lifespan in the NFL is only 3, 4, 5 years. So you can't wait on him to develop. He needs to come in there and make some noise now,
100%.
which I think he will. I think he will.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He definitely will not be the odd man out if Cook
No.
signs. It'd be Gaskin or someone like that. It'd be
exactly. But as to your question, I if he comes, that'd be great. That'd be another element, another piece, that we can use. And it's going to make that, let's face it, it's going to make that running back room better because he's a proven veteran. He's been around the block. He would fit into the system perfect.
Yeah.
So I would, for the right price.
Right. No, I agree.
Price.
You just don't want to break the bank and not be able to sign some of the other guys that you got to sign. But back it up. Ben's podcast is, you got to scoop Cook if you can. So I agree.
Yeah,
I agree on that.
If it's the right price,
that helps the football team. More, you just want, because this is, we got a small window. It looks like, or you always, every window in the NFL is small unless you're like the New England Patriots, who dominated for almost a freaking decade, unfortunately, if not more. It felt like, they were dominating forever. So, but, those are rare these days. It's not like where a whole decade's dominated by a team or whatever.
Right.
You got teams that go up and down and whatever. So it's Miami's turn now. They got to take advantage of being there. And boom, you got to be back.
Well,
because it's been way too long. Because when you look at some of these teams around, like the Eagles are the perfect example that almost make me jealous, because they always, like a few years ago with Andy Reid, they make the Super Bowl. I mean, that's way back. They don't make it for whatever reason. They don't win it. They, because their quarterback, McNabb, was having issues that game too, or whatever it was. And one of the guys was playing hurt. So they don't win that game. But anyway, so they move on from him. But then just a few years later, they're back in another Super Bowl with another coach and with Peterson. And they actually win a Super Bowl. Then that, whatever reason, doesn't work out. He's gone. And here they are already back in another Super Bowl last year. And we've done all this rebuilding with new coaches, and we haven't seen a playoff win. I mean, what are the Eagles doing? What's in the water up there that they know how to just burn it down?
General manager.
Yeah, I know. Start all over again, and you just, boom, you're back to being good. I mean, we've been 20 years of doing this crap. And I'm sorry, I have to say crap and that's about as bad as I get. But, and yes.
You're fired up, Rob.
I know. But the Eagles had a strong draft again this year. They were in the Super Bowl. They have a top 10 pick, a guy that, was speeding in a car, ends up falling an extra couple picks. They get this guy, Jalen Carr, whatever. And it's just it's crazy, man. The Eagles just, continue to build, and we're waiting for one playoff win. That's why it makes me mad. But the 49ers are another example of a team. They made the Super Bowl with Harbaugh and Kaepernick at quarterback. That all blows up. Kaepernick's out of the league. So is Harbaugh and coaching up in Michigan. But they bring in a new guy, and here they are already again, and they're Super Bowl contenders every year, and was in a recent Super Bowl. It's just crazy. And we just wait for one playoff win. I'm not even talking the Super Bowl. I'm talking one playoff win. It's insane. And I know most fans basis, of course, not Kansas City and the teams like this, and Pittsburgh is always good. But most fans are like us right now and talk. I mean, the Lions and the Jets, even the Bills. Yeah, they had some AFC East, but I'd be disappointed if I'm a Bills fan right now, because they haven't reached what I would expect them to reach. They're at their window too. And, this year could be the year. But to me, the Bills actually took a step back last year. So, there's a lot of fan bases that are disappointed. And I understand that. But the only fan base I care about is our fan base. So, I want us to be happy at the end of the year finally. So it's just crazy. Anyway, I'm on a rant because it just makes me mad when you see these other teams and our excuses. Well, we're rebuilding, but these other teams, have built winners, taken it down because of whatever, not good relationships or whatever, then built back up and, winning playoff games and getting to the Super Bowl while Miami sits on their hands and haven't won a playoff game since December 30th of the year 2000. And it's sad. I have to know that date, but it's just ingrained in my head because that's the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game. It's sad.
And I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but here's the deal. If Miami, as you said, there's no excuses. There's no freaking excuses this year with the talent we have in this roster, the coaching staff we have, Vic Fangio, that we got for the defense. The defense should be a lot better. If we do a 9-8 this year or an 8-9 and we fire everybody, guess what? We're back to where we started again, a rebuild.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
So it's crazy. So, I see this team this year. It's do or die this year. I'm just saying it's do or die this year for me.
No, it is.
I mean,
and at a minimum, a playoff win. I know only one team can win the Super Bowl. I understand that, and that's asking for a lot. But that's what I want. That should be the team goal. That should be the Miami Dolphins' goal for sure, is to win the Super Bowl. But from a fan base, anything short of at least one playoff win, and I'd be disappointed if only one, because I feel like this team has a chance. But they better at least get one. If you're another one and done, I mean, that's not good enough for me this year. At least last year, we salvaged our, we made the playoffs, got a little help on the last week of the season, went up there, played better against Buffalo than we had done in our other one and done. So maybe that's a step in the right direction. But to me, they need to win. They need to win. It's crazy that you go that long. Like I love to say, I have a son that was born, went through all the way through the school systems, now going to be going into his third year at the University of Florida. And in all that time, guess how many playoff games the Dolphins have won? Zero. It's crazy, man. I mean, it's just insane. It's time as a fan. And I always stick to, I'm the bandwagon guy. Well, not bandwagon, because I'm a loyal guy. Evan of the Fins Talk Sports Network has a show called The Bandwagon, so that's where that term goes up. But I'm on that bandwagon all the time. So I'm not hating on them, but it's just time to show us a win. And real quick, before I let you talk, Steve, if you're just joining us here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and find DolphinThirsty.com. We got a brand new page that has all the trivia questions, easy to find about your history of your Miami Dolphins. And everything else new, up to date on Miami Dolphins news. It will be found on Dolphin Thirsty. So anyway, Steve, I don't mean to sound like, I know I sound a little Debbie Downer today, but to me, it's just time for the Dolphins to back up all the talk and walk the walk and get us some playoff victories, because these other teams have rebuilt, build back up, and get to Super Bowls and playoff wins, while we sit there waiting for, just every year we're down to we're in the hunt. I don't even want to be that. I want to 3 or 4 weeks we're just playing for either the number 1 or the number 2 seed, not this in the hunt crap. That's not good enough this year. We got to kick butt, go out there, earn a playoff spot early, and take control, not barely make it and then be a one and done. It's just not acceptable.
I agree.
All right, Steve, now you can have your little rant.
No, I agree. I like it. I love it. You're just throwing truth bombs out there, man. That's just the facts, But here's the thing. I know everybody's been talking about how hard the schedule is and how tough it is and blah, blah, blah. And it is, no doubt. It is a tough schedule this year. But hey, we don't know what these teams are going to be like, right? I mean, they're some teams could be better. Some teams could, decline. We don't know that. Okay. And you've said it best. We're not going to know until the 10th game of the season. Right.
Right.
So what I do like about this schedule this year is it seems like it's a fair schedule. It does. We're playing the Los Angeles Chargers, the first game of the season, which I love.
Yeah. Get that West Coast game out of the way.
Get it out of the way. And it's at home, right?
Yeah.
Is the Chargers game at home or is it away?
No, it's away. We have to. That's when
okay. It's away.
West Coast. So we get the West Coast trip out of the way. That's it. Other than we have to go to Europe this year, but we get the West Coast trip out of the way.
Yeah, get that West Coast game out of the way, and then we don't have to go up there in Arrowhead Stadium to play Kansas City. We're on neutral ground in Germany.
No, so that's actually a benefit. If you had to play a game in Germany, that's the game. Even though I feel bad for my good friend Wesley, because he was all excited, and I kept on telling him that we know Kansas City has to play an overseas game this year. It could be the Dolphins. No, no,
Yeah.
no. I just know because
Yeah.
his uncle lives there, his cousin or some whatever lives out there, and he was saying, "Man, all I have to do is drive. I'm going to take the week off from work, and then the few days after, I'm just going to enjoy because I can take my dog with me because he loves his dog." So, I go, and, my uncle says and he already knew what hotels along the route he could stop and take his dog to. And then I said, yeah. And then so last Wednesday, I see him every Wednesday. And then so I'll be Thursday, I see him tomorrow. So I'll be seeing him tomorrow. So every Thursday I see him. And then he just started shaking his head. I mean, because the schedule had come out, and I had told him, because it had been released, the Germany game. So it's just like he was so down. But anyway, on that, like you said, from a team standpoint, it definitely benefits the Miami Dolphins because we don't have to go into that sea of red and hear and all that stuff. So we can just go kick butt over in Germany.
Yeah, but on paper, it looks like we've got, we have a tough schedule for sure. And we play Buffalo at the end of the year, the last game of the year, but it's at home. So that's another good thing. If we're fighting for AFC divisional, win, that's the ideal spot to be at home for Miami Dolphins. So I'm happy with this schedule. It just doesn't seem we're going to have some tough games, but
they're going to be very
they're going to be spread out. You know what I mean? They're not going to be like 4 or 5 definitely in a row like we did last year. So at least on paper, that's what it looks like now. So we never know what's going to happen when the season starts. The division can change, Hey, we don't even know. Everybody's afraid of the Jets. We don't know what the Jets are going to do. We don't even know if Aaron Rodgers, but it's his first team with the New York Jets, a different organization, different system, different players. I know he got some of his players back, but they're totally different players. So
I agree. We don't really know anything. And I mean, the Back It Up Binge podcast, you are right. The AFC is highly competitive. Temper expectations. I've been suffering since the 70s. So you broke that up into 3 segments. I agree with the first one, and I agree with the last one because I've been a fan a little less than you. I remember when AJ Dewey and David Woodley era. I have photos of me and the Dolphins stuff from the 70s as a kid, but when I start remembering like that 1981 playoff game against the Chargers, that's when I really my memory starts kicking in. But the more I don't agree is temper expectation. I am not going to. There's no excuse for them not to be good.
I agree.
So I'm going to limit my expectation. If they let me down, we know what? They're going to let me down, whether I think they're going to suck or they're going to be good. I'm still going to watch them all. So I don't want to temper my expectations, but I do realize it's going to be tough. And there's a lot of good teams, and only one team can be happy at the end of the year. But I want my expectations because they should be high with they've given up first round draft picks to bring in known quantities. They've given up a third round pick to bring in Ramsey. So they've done these moves, given them the bag of money. So to me, there is no, if we were going with rookies and instead of having Bradley Chubb and we had just stayed with that pick and we would draft a first round pick, we had not given up our third round pick for Ramsey. And I would say, okay, I would temper my expectations. But when you make moves like that, you're telling the fan base, we are ready to win now. That's what you're telling them. So that's why to me as a fan, of course my expectations are high because they're telling you we're ready to win now. Because you don't do those moves. You don't trade for a Tyreek Hill, giving up multiple draft access. You don't trade for Bradley Chubb, giving up multiple draft assets, and you don't bring in Ramsey. Is granted only a third, but only a third. You could get quality players. Some of our best players, Jason Taylor and stuff like. So we gave up good draft access. So that to me is the fan. So that's why my expectations is higher than normal because normally my neighbor next door over here, her name's Barb. She's a diehard Dolphin fan like me, and she's always like, "Oh, we're going to be great," and I'm like, "Oh, we will see." This year, not I'm, and Barb's like, "I think we switch rows," because I'm like, "No, we're going to be good." There's no excuses. We got a nice young coach that should be really good with this talent that fits his scheme. We finally got a coach that's we're finally doing it right that way. We're finding good scheme fits. We're just not going to throw, hey, we got a new coach, but none of our players match his scheme. Maybe on defense a little bit, because on the defensive line, maybe some of them may not, fit. But we went out at least as a linebacker and got David Long, another move that shows we're ready. has possible injury. So that's all I mean. So I agree with you on 2 of the 3, but I am not going to temper my expectations. So what's
I'm with you. I'm with you, Rob. I'm
yeah,
not going to temper my expectations either. I expect this. Look, you're never, we may never, I'm not going to say never, but we may never, ever, ever see another roster like this again.
oh no, I
So
agree,
we've
man.
got to do the
Yeah,
damage now. We don't have 3, 4, 5
yeah.
years. We have 1, 2 years at the most. So the window is now. We need to do this now.
I'd say back it up. I'm not going to go through each game on the schedule, of course, but win prediction is minimum 10, hopefully to 12. So 10 to 12 range, somewhere in there. But anything less than 10 wins. But now, of course, I could eat my words because if 9 and 8 gets us in and we go on a playoff run, like our beautiful, as you guys know, I'm not a big hockey or basketball fan, but like the Panthers and the Heat shown, all you have to do is get to the dance and you can win some games at the dance. And that's what the Heat and the Panthers are doing. So I don't care if the Dolphins get into the playoffs at 9 and 8, and then I will eat my words if they go on and win the playoffs. But if it's like 9 and 8 and it's like out of the playoffs or 9 and 8 and one and done, then that's disappointing. So, but to me, I think, as you mentioned, the AFC is very competitive. So you better be up in that double-digit win category.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the worst case scenario for the Dolphins is 10 and 7. And I think realistically, or better yet, I would say that their ceiling is probably, in my opinion, is 12 and 5.
Well, that's
that's what I think. That's what I think their ceiling is with this. Looking at it on paper, with the schedule, I would say their ceiling is 12 and 5. Worst case scenario, 10 and 7. But realistically, in my opinion, I'm going to say 11 and 6.
Yep. And this year, due to the odd schedule, I like that 11 and 6. That's where I say. So you're right in my average. I said anywhere from 10 to 12. So the 11 and 6 falls. 10 wins to a 12 wins.
Yeah.
And here we go. This year being an odd season, we got 9 home games because we got 9 home games.
That's a good thing.
I don't care who they are because obviously you got the division opponents. But of those 9 home games, you better be you better be 7-2 at home, like some crazy ass winning record at home. And win those home games. You've been granted the 9 games at home this year. Take advantage of those 9 home games. You can't be losing to the Broncos at home. You can't. I know the Giants were a competitive team and made the playoffs last year and had a little more success on that front than we did. But then you also have those first 3 home games. I hate to go schedule by schedule. I never do because I know some of them. But you cannot be losing to the Broncos, the Giants, and the Panthers at home. You can't.
And the Raiders.
And then the Raiders and the Patriots. You have to beat the Patriots at home. And then you got to beat the Jets. You got to win all division games at home. Let's just start at that. Yeah. And then there's some other. But to me, of those 9, that's 9 games at home you've been granted this year because next year it'd be the other way. We will have 9 road games. Right. This year we got the 9 home. I want at least 7-2 at home. And then basically you can probably play 500 on the row, and that would get you up to the the win total we're looking at.
Around 11 and 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what
I agree.
I'm looking at. And I'm not because I see a lot of people chalking those first 2 games up of the season. I could see us starting not so maybe 1-1 or even 0-2. You just don't know. Those are tough.
Yeah.
But what we have to do though is avoid the long losing streak that we've had the past 2 seasons, like 5 and 7 game losing streaks. You cannot have that. You got to be like I always do my baseball analogy. You have to have a closer. You have to have an ace. You have to have coming in and shut down that long losing streak because 2 years in a row we had those losing streaks and we had to win so many games just to make up for different throughout the year.
Now, who we playing? Who we playing in December, Rob?
I would have to bring up I think I got rid of the official team schedule.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, I did. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't have it. I just got it by weeks there. But somewhere in there is going to be.
Well, Black Friday's in November, right?
So so Black Friday's in November.
That's the end of November.
Right. And then we got, so either because one of those games is going to start hitting January probably. But anywhere
Yeah.
after Washington, the Titans, the Jets, the
there you
Cowboys,
go.
and whatever. And I just took that off today because I was saying I got too many banners on there.
Well, here you go. Let's do that. So let's say Black Friday is in November, right? November what, 24th, 25th, something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So then Washington's going to be your first December game. I'm thinking. Let's just say that Washington is our first December game. So we're going to play Washington, and then we're going to play 3 home games after that. You're playing the Titans, which is a tough team to play. With Tannehill, homecoming.
No, always tough.
Unless Will Levis is starting by that time. Yes. But anyway, so then you got the Titans, the Jets at home, and you've got Dallas. Dallas is another one that's going to be a tough game. They got an excellent defense. And then you're going to play Baltimore again at week 17. Wow. Now that one's an away game.
No, that's rough, and they're going to want revenge for our great comeback last year. Exactly. That's why I said by the time going into that game, but I mean, there's no excuse because you may very well have to play at Baltimore in a playoff game, so there's no excuse. But you got to be. But I hope we have some stuff wrapped up playoff spot wise before we go into that game. And you were right. Black Friday this year, so we're estimating right is on November 24th. So. Mm-hmm. So you are right on that. So November 24th. So all those games are, then a couple will fall into the first weeks, I guess.
So on paper, that's a tough run there in December.
Oh no, that's a very tough run. The good thing is that 4 of the 5 games are at home.
Yes, so that's a good thing. Yeah. And we don't have to go flying all over creation like we did last year at the end, on the other side of the United States.
Good morning, Daniel. Welcome to the room, Daniel. And guys, that reminds me, please like and subscribe. Daniel. And here's a quick welcome to the. Thank you, Daniel, for showing up. That's awesome. And then, but yeah, I mean, that's a tough part of the schedule. Yeah, but at the very least, a lot of them are at home. And you got to win. I don't care. The Titans are going to be tough. The Jets are going to be tough. The Cowboys are going to be tough, and the Bills are going to be tough on those home games. But you got to win those. I'm telling you, you got to be 7-2 at home this year. If you got to split the interconference games. But in my opinion, look, the Jets have a good defense, but I think we can beat the Jets twice. I think we can. Oh, I would hope. Really do. I think that's a strong possibility that. Yeah, we can beat the Jets twice. So it is. It's tough, and we can't base it based on last year. But let's just go this year. It's going to be a fun season to watch. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have where we're going to be down, and we're going to be on Real Talk Fins talking. Like people are thinking, oh, do you guys even Dolphin fans? Because they're going to break our heart a few times during the year. But the one thing is for sure, we are Dolphin fans. And like I said, I don't mind Real Talk Fins Talk. The one thing that we do at Real Talk Fins Talk, we will talk real about the Miami Dolphins, real about a player playing well or not playing well, but we would never take personal shots at a player. That's where we separate from the other networks on us in Fins Talk Sports Network. We don't make things personal. We just say he had a good performance or he had a bad performance.
Except for Liam Eichenberg.
Oh yeah, Lee and Eichenberg we might pick on.
I got kind of upset with him last year. So Chris
Greer we might pick on from time to time, but nothing like too personal. We won't say he's an awful person or anything. We would just say he's an awful general manager.
We're talking strictly about their play, their performance,
just about their play. So it's all fun. So make sure you join us on that. And Steve and I are going to hopefully be coming out with our own show in the evening sometime. I'm going to work in conjunction with the Fins Talk Sports Network because they told us last night our schedule may move around a little bit, or the bandwagon may move around a little bit. So we would try to find good time slots for us to talk, and it won't be a problem. But right now, you can find us every Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Fins Talk Sports Network.
Thank you,
Rob. That's always a good time. That's Steve's the host there, so I get to flip the tables today, and I get to be the host, so it feels good, So there you go. Daniel says 11-6 should get us, and I agree because the AFC will beat each other up. So I do believe 11. If 11-6 doesn't get us in, and the Dolphins go 11-6, I'm not even going to be that hard on them because that's just a weird bad break of how the schedule falls. Because a couple of years ago we were like 10-6 and we didn't even make the playoffs. So or whatever it was back then before we went to the 17-game schedule.
Right. So, yeah, 11-6 should. I agree with Daniel. 11-6 should definitely get us in there. Now 10-7, that's I don't know about that.
I know you're right there on the edge, but that's a minimum. To me, that's the floor. If you don't get double-digit wins for the Dolphins this year,
I agree.
Like I said, there's no excuse. So yes, back it up. Ben's podcast, one of my favorite guests that come in here. He is right on some of those, but my expectations are high for this team because they've told us to say that expectations to be high. All their moves have told us to have high expectations. They don't come out and say it, of course. Chris Greer and McDaniel aren't going to come out in their press conference and say, hey, fans, have high expectations. But all their moves have told us to have high expectations.
Action speaks louder than words.
Yep, and they have. So they're giving us high expectations. And I know the Jets fans are their expectations. They're talking Super Bowl. The Bills, of course, until someone knocks the Bills off, they are the beast in the East, and right now we are not. So someone has to knock off Buffalo just to get into the division. And that would be a nice thing because if winning the division, if nothing else, guarantees you at least one home playoff game, how the current structure of the NFL is, so you are guaranteed at least a home playoff game if you win your division. So that should be the first goal. Win the division. And I know the Jets are good. I know the Bills are good. Even New England, I do not sleep on New England.
Good point. Yeah, that's a good point, Rob.
But you still got Bill Belichick. Yes, he hasn't won without Tom Brady, but he still is a good coach. As you can see, they've never been awful. They've never just been like, they're not one of these 2-15 teams. They're going to come in and you're going to have a hard, every time you have to go play them, it's not going to be just a roll over. They're not going to roll over and die unfortunately, like our teams did. When New England was dominating, they took advantage of Buffalo sucking, the Jets sucking, and the Dolphins sucking. Yes, the Dolphins may beat them once a year when they would come visit Miami, but that was just more like they were almost on vacation and didn't even care because we would do that and we would be all, woo, we beat New England. And New England would wipe us off and be on and playing in the Super Bowl that year. Wow. We're stupid commercials, are rooting for a team against the New England Patriots. So, but they won't roll over. So, they're not going to roll over. They don't have that. We don't have a team that you can just say, oh, okay, we're going to beat them twice. But I would love to beat the Jets twice. We're capable of it. Beat New England twice. That might be the New England might be the key to the factor because that's what everyone says about my poor. And yes, in baseball, I go to the evil territory and I love the Boston Red Sox. But that's how they look at this year. The Boston Red Sox, they describe them as the dangerous team that you have to have a good record against them in the division, if you want, because everyone thinking the Orioles and of course the Rays are kicking butt and the Blue Jays and the Yankees. So they're saying the Red Sox are going to be like the key factor, like whoever can have the better record against them, it's like, and that's how, I look at New England this year. You got to beat New England both times, really, but they're not going to be.
Them too.
The good thing is we escaped the Tom Brady reunion. The Eagles are going to get that.
You never know. We might have a Tom Brady reunion.
No, I'm not talking about on our team. I'm talking about.
I know.
They're going to have them come back, and they said they were going to do it for the first game of the year, but now they got the Eagles in the first week. So I am happy because we know how many times we would have had to hear about tampering and the Dolphins tried to get Brady on that telecast when we go up there on. Thank God that we don't have to hear about Tom Brady. We would still hear about it, of course, but. Yeah, it's just at least that won't be the feature story now because they're not going to be honoring Tom Brady that night. It's going to be the week before. But like I said, that's why I know I did that long baseball thing, but just to say that's how I view New England. You got to do well against them. You can't be losing games against teams that you're supposed to beat. Though I know I just said New England's going to be tougher than we think, but so are we. So we got to win those games. You can't be losing division games. You can't be swept by a division opponent this year. Least, you got to split with the Jets and the Bills.
I agree. Yeah.
And it'd be nice to get a sweep against New England because, if it comes
down the Jets.
Or the Jets. Oh, it'd be great to sweep them
any of them, actually.
I would love to sweep them all because at the end, it may come down to a tiebreaker. And the first tiebreaker they look at is head-to-head. But if you're split 50-50, then the next one is division record. And, you're going to want the better division record in that scenario. And then AFC record. So you really want the games that you can afford to lose are like your out of conference games if it comes down to tiebreaker.
Yep.
So, that's how I
agree.
look at it. So, yes, spins it up. To make a long story short, my expectations are high, and they're going to stay high until they break my
Are we
heart.
still talking on that point?
Yeah, I know. I just can't help it because every time I try to find a reason that we can't win, there is no reason. I just don't see why we can't win.
Yeah. I
So
agree,
anyway,
Rob.
Daniel, Ender. I think Bender was a TV show character, and Vito, all you guys. G-Man, you're gonna have to follow us up in the. I hope you watch later, G-Man. We've missed you the past couple episodes. I don't know, but so what's your final thoughts before we're about to close out here? Before a little 4:11, and so I know you're happy. So what have you covered everything we wanted? Oh, I know what we didn't cover. Nick Needham. What's your takes on him coming back and how he's going to compete with the defensive backs we have, including Cam Smith and all of that?
Right. Well, we got Nick Needham, and we talked a little bit about this last night on Real Talk Fins Talk. Nick Needham is coming back from Achilles heel injury, so we don't know how he's gonna, perform once he's on the field. Wow, we got a lot back there in that defensive back room. I mean, one guy that we didn't mention that I think might be a good addition is Deshaun Elliott.
No,
so
yes,
we forgot about him. So, we've got Deshaun Elliott, then we've got Nick Needham, we've got Brandon Jones, you've got Cater Kohu, and we forgot about Crossan. I think Crossan is still on the team too, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he is.
So and Fingelin, I think, is still on the team. I don't think he's.
And Trill Williams is still
Trill Williams. So we're stacked back there.
But we don't know about Trill because we keep on saying he's really good, but we haven't really seen anything.
We haven't really seen him, right? Yeah, we haven't seen him in the
regular. So we're going to find out. But then, but of course, you got Cam Smith, which we spent a high draft pick on, second round, which was might as well be our first round pick because we didn't have a first round pick. So we wanted him above everyone else that was on our board when that pick came up, 51. We took him. So obviously you got Cam Smith. Of course, you got Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Daniel. Those are three guaranteed people that are going to be on the roster. And then you got Cater Kohu. You got Needham. Yeah, man, we're starting to get deep. I'm just like guys that
Deshaun Elliott, Brandon Jones.
Yeah, Brandon Jones. And then, of course, Javon Holland. And then you got
Mahone, what is the guy that played with Holland at Oregon?
McKinley or whatever.
Verone McKinley.
Yeah, McKinley, and we're
they played last year. He played a little bit last year as well. So these guys have played. They got some time in last year, some snaps.
No, and they do, and it's going to be a very competitive defensive backfield this year for the Miami Dolphins, and hopefully, Xavier Howard steps up and it's not as in because I think he played a lot of last year injured. So hopefully this year he's healed up and he avoids the groin injury and everything that slows him down.
I doubt it. The guy's been injured his whole time with Miami. He's played with groin injuries or something. He's been playing like at 80 or 90% at times for his whole career. So that's just normal for him. I just think he didn't have the help that he normally had in the past with Byron Jones. Byron Jones, they never threw the ball his way. And of course, this year they did throw the ball to Cater Kohu's way and whoever else was playing at that corner spot. So he had a rough time this year.
No, I know.
I grant you, along with the injury didn't help.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think Fangio will have it more friendly for his style of play. Maybe he can be back because his best way is being aggressive, going after the ball.
Yeah.
That's what he does best.
Well, he's got Ramsey now, so he's got that help.
I know, and I think Ramsey may be moved around in the defense some. He'd be on the boundary the most of the time, but you can move him over because he's willing, he said in his press conference, to be wherever they need him. He will
Cam Smith
over.
Too.
Yeah, I know Cam. So I think we got a really good defensive backfield. Hopefully, David Long at linebacker plays well, stays healthy. Another disclaimer guy that we have to throw the disclaimer because when you read about him, he's really good. But his old coach called him a repeat offender as far as injury. So
Injuries.
I know he
Yeah.
didn't take a liking to that. He called that out when he goes, oh, I didn't like being called a repeat offender. He goes, it's a soft tissue injury,
Yeah.
So hopefully, on a
Yeah.
more fun note, though, it's time to wrap this up.
Yes,
I
sir.
do believe that our Dolphins are going to be very good this year. And I look forward to doing the show every Tuesday night on the Fins Talk Sports Network with like you. And if they move us to another time slot, we would be happy to do it in that time slot.
Yeah.
But I think they're talking about maybe moving the bandwagon. I don't know. So we'll see. But
Mhm.
anyway, that would be fun. You and I are going to come up with a new name. I think I like the word. Hey, guys, do you like this word finitude? Like fins with attitude. Finitude. And then under it, the tagline would be Fins with attitude. I'm thinking of making that Steve's and I show. We're going to try to do a panel show. If all you guys want to show up, of course, anyone on the Fins Talk Sports Network, back it up, Fins Podcast. I know you're very busy in your professional life, but when you get a little bit of time, you can come join us on that network. It'd be, you can come for 5 minutes and we will all talk Miami Dolphins football. And once again, I would like to say, even though I'm not a big Miami Heat and Panthers guy, I am kind of following hockey. That was fun. I never really watched hockey, but my son, Dad, said, oh, it's really fun, Dad, because he's like me, baseball, football. But he did start watching the Panthers, so it is fun. But I would like to give a shout out to the Miami Heat and the Panthers. Bring some winning to South Florida. Put pressure on the Miami Dolphins and say, hey, Miami Dolphins, you better wake up and start winning, or you're going to be like the last team people talk about in this market. I will always be my first team to talk about, no matter what. The Dolphins could be 2-15, and I would talk about them over the 10-time defending NBA champion in Miami Heat. I would still talk about the Dolphins. That's just how I was born. But when you start hearing sports talk down here, just less and less Dolphin talk, and everyone's talking Panthers and Heat because those are the teams that are winning. So Dolphins, no pressure, but you better damn win because there is pressure.
I agree.
So Steve, I will see you for sure next week. Hopefully we get our own show rolling, especially as the season approaches and we figure out all good things. Oh, absolutely. And please, I'm not doing my job again. Please like and subscribe and find DolphinsThirsty.com. Go check out my DolphinThirsty.com and the Miami Dolphins trivia. Please, I almost had a heart attack because I thought I had deleted my whole site last night trying to be Mr. Technician. I finally had to call my good buddy up in Orlando, and he put me in contact with someone that says, oh, he's from India, but he would do a great job if you chat with him, and he got me fixed. So I don't want to even say the guy's name because I will butcher it. If you think I butcher American names, I will butcher his name. But he walked me through, and I got my site. I was like, oh my goodness, what did I do? So Dolphin Thirsty's back, and thanks to him, the Dolphins trivia thing is boom back. You go and hit one easy touch, and you got it. So it's
good
great
stuff.
Yeah. All right, guys. And again, thank you, Steve. And
absolutely, it's been a pleasure.
And, they come for your Dolphins #1. So make sure. Here we go, man. You ready?
I'm
Dolphins
ready.
#1.
Dolphins #1, baby. Dolphins #1.